They hear him. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
Yeah, there's a war going on outside. No man is safe from. You can run, but you can't hide forever from these streets that we done took. They walking with their head down, scared to look. Son, they shook, cause they know such things as halfway crooks. They never around when the beef cooks on my part of town. It's similar to Vietnam. What's up with it, y'all? This is Hot Boxing Minute. Your favorite pharmaceutical engineer turned boxing analyst back at you with that uncut, rugged, raw, narrative-free, no-nonsense boxing conversation for your ears. And I want to talk about the fight card going down this weekend. It's going to be a top-rank event, free on ESPN this Saturday. Let me get that location going on. I'm really excited about this card, just to let y'all know. So it's going to be in upstate New York at Verona. I don't know where that is in upstate New York, or if it is in upstate Verona, New York, at the Turning Stone Casino. The main card is going to be Efe Ajagba fighting Stephan Big Shot Shaw, a personal friend of mine. Am I biased in this? You goddamn right. I have been training in the same facility as Stephan Big Shot Shaw for at least the last 6 to 8 years or something like that. I'm really excited to see a guy I know getting his opportunity, because this is an opportunity for those that have been watching his career and following his path, know that he is ready to take full advantage of. Efe Ajagba, what can we say about him? The man was a 2016 Olympian representing Nigeria. We have seen crazy highlight reel knockout crazy highlight reel knockouts from this guy. He is 6'6", got an 81-inch reach. His record right now is 16-1 with 13 knockouts. His only loss was a decision loss against Frank Sanchez. In his most recent fight was a second round. Actually, he lost the fight against Frank Sanchez, and that was on the undercard for Fury versus Wilder 3. So I guess, as a confidence builder, they stuck Efe Ajagba in there at the Pedraza Come card against a former cruiserweight by the name of Yosef Darmos, and he got him out of there in 2 rounds. He thoroughly beat the dog snot out of him. And, I guess the one thing that Efe Ajagba is really known for is his power. He doesn't really move very much, but he's kind of heavy-footed and heavy-handed. But if he touches you, it's very clear with everyone. If he touches them, you can tell it bothers everyone. And we got a fun matchup this weekend coming up with him. Originally, he was supposed to fight the WBC Bridgerweight champion, Oscar Rivas, but Oscar Rivas had to pull out due to an injury, and apparently has since then announced his retirement from boxing. So it was supposed to be Efe Ajagba against Oscar Rivas, and then it was going to be Guido Vianello, who was the Olympian from Italy, who was an undefeated heavyweight blue chip contender / prospect potentially, or prospect at this point, against Stephan Big Shot Shaw, St. Louis' finest. But they approached Stephan Shaw in the last minute and said, hey, Oscar Rivas is injured. Can you step in? Oh, by the way, I have an interview posted with Stephan Big Shot Shaw on my channel where all the details of this are all broken down, just to let you know. So they approached him last minute, about 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, not very long ago. He's in the middle of his camp for training with Guido Vianello when the guys at Top Rank, I'm sure it's Lou DiBella who helps manage him, split team management, and, you've got the Bruce Tramplers and what have you at Top Rank, when they decided to call Stephan up and ask him if he wanted to take up that fight with Efe Ajagba. And Stephan decided, that's obviously a great opportunity. Stephan Big Shot Shaw has been waiting for an opportunity like this for a very long time. My man Stephan Shaw is 18-0 with 13 knockouts, so he has the same amount of knockouts as Efe Ajagba. He doesn't have that Olympic amateur pedigree, so he hasn't really gotten as much publicity as, say, Efe Ajagba or even a Jared Anderson, for example, has gotten. But those in the boxing world who know who's who, they know that his grandfather, Buddy Shaw, is a very well-known professional hailing from the St. Louis area. He comes from multiple generations of St. Louis fighters. And, of course, St. Louis, a city with a deep boxing pedigree. You've got the Spinks brothers, Michael and Leon, and who else? I believe Devin Alexander's from St. Louis. Throw in Archie Moore if you want, even though I'm from San Diego, and in my city, we like to claim Archie Moore as one of ours. But You got Stephan Shaw. He's 6'4". He's a little bit shorter, 81 inches. So he's giving up about 3 or 4 inches of reach. But Stephan Shaw is a very well-educated boxer with puncher features. He's got some heavy hands. He prefers to stay defensively responsible and prefers to use his feet to get himself out of, defensively sticky or offensively sticky situations. My man Stephan Big Shot Shaw will not take any risks that are averse to his personal health. He is not a fool. His ring IQ is one of the highest in the division, by my opinion. You can check for yourself when you see him fight against Efe Ajagba. Stephan Shaw isn't in there to slug him with you. He's in there to box circles around you and make you look like a fool. And his footwork is right up there with Frank Sanchez, if not better than Frank Sanchez. But that remains to be seen because he hasn't had to use his footwork against anybody. But I assume against Efe Ajagba, we'll see some of the good footwork that I've been seeing him use for years. And Stephan Shaw, his most recent fight was an 8-round clear unanimous decision win over the veteran Rydell Booker. Rydell Booker is a veteran journeyman who's been in there with some of the best in the division. He is a little bit older, but regardless, he just got done with a highlight reel knockout of his previous opponent after losing to Stephan Big Shot Shaw. Rydell Booker has fought James Toney, Big Bang Zhang, Philip Ergovic, Michael Hunter. So he's been in there with some of the top dogs, and he's only really been stopped once. And if I'm not mistaken, it was against Philip Ergovic. Don't quote me on it. I think it was Philip Ergovic, but it was the referee called it a TKO stoppage. He wasn't knocked out cold, but Rydell Booker is a wily veteran. He might be a little bit older, but I think he's 40 or 41. But in the realm of heavyweights, that isn't that terrible a thing to be that age in this day and age, because heavyweights, if you've got the right technique, you already know it only takes one punch. Just one punch. And, after losing to Stephan Shaw, Rydell Booker got a highlight reel knockout of some other journeyman. I believe his last name was Norman. Don't quote me on that one. But prior to that, Stephan Shaw fought Rafael Marquez. I believe that was the gentleman's name. And before that, it was... Goodness, why am I forgetting his name? The guy that was rumored to have knocked out Anthony Joshua in sparring, Joey Dwayko, although nobody's actually admitted to it, he did get a stoppage win over Joey Dwayko. So, we've got big shot Stephan Shaw fighting the Nigerian knockout artist, the former Olympian Efe Ajagba this weekend. And depending on the performance, you might end up hearing Stephan Big Shot Shaw's name mentioned as one of the top USA heavyweights, right there next to Jared Anderson. You're going to find out. Watch that fight this weekend and mark my words. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say about my boy Stephan Shaw in his fight going in with Efe Ajagba. Efe Ajagba is kind of slow and heavy-footed. If he catches you, he'll knock you out. Stephan Shaw has ring IQ, great movement, great defense, and power himself. They both have the same amount of knockouts. I have no reason to believe that Stephan Shaw will not box circles around Efe Ajagba. So I'm predicting either a wide unanimous decision or a late stoppage. It's a very interesting point in boxing. So, like I said, Efe Ajagba, the Nigerian knockout artist and former Olympian, is going to be facing St. Louis' finest, Stephan Big Shot Shaw, in a heavyweight matchup out there on ESPN this weekend. And mark my words, folks, by the time this weekend is done, Stephan Big Shot Shaw's name will be mentioned amongst the top USA heavyweights, just like Jared Anderson and guys like Michael Hunter. Mark my words on this one, folks. Now, the undercard for that one is going to be Guido Vianello against, I believe it's Johnny Rice, if I'm not mistaken. He took over the other card on that one. Let's see. I should have looked this one up before I did it. Guido Vianello. But that's the other undercard, and he's going to be fighting Johnny Rice. Jonathan Rice is a solid dude. 15-6-1, sturdy enough to find out if Guido Vianello is as good as they think he is. And you guys are going to want to watch that one. The main fights I came to talk about really are the ones that caught my interest, obviously. Efe Ajagba, Stephan Big Shot Shaw, and the undercard fight to that, one of the other big fights that's going to be on that card, Adam Blue Nose Lopez and Abraham Nava. And I like both Adam Lopez and Abraham Nava, so I can talk about this fight. Adam Blue Nose Lopez, based out of Southern California, somewhere in the Los Angeles County area. He's 16-3 with 6 knockouts, 5'8", 69.5-inch reach. His 3 losses only come against the best of the best. He lost to Stephen Fulton, he lost to Isaac Dogbo, and he lost to Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez, it was a TKO stoppage that many people argue was a little bit premature, but in the end, I felt he would have lost to Oscar Valdez anyways, just on sheer firepower. Adam Blue Nose Lopez is a fun fighter to watch. He lost the other 2 by decision against Stephan Fulton and against Isaac Dogbo. How do I describe Adam Blue Nose Lopez? He's a pressure fighter, but I wouldn't call him a puncher. He is a boxer with puncher features. He moves around very well, has great head movement, doesn't take a lot of heavy shots, likes to stay in an opponent's face to throw off their concentration, counters very, very well. Then he's going up against Abraham Nava, 21-1 and 15 knockouts. He had a very distinguished amateur career out there in the Northeast, all kind of PAL tournaments and national tournaments. He beat guys like Jackson Marinez, Frank Martin, Jermaine Ortiz. His last fight was a loss. The first loss of his professional career. He got knocked out crazy by Robesi Ramirez. I want to say it was in like the 5th round, if I'm not mistaken. Before that, he got an 8th round TKO against William Encarnacion. Abraham Nava is also one of those fun fighters you want to watch. How do I describe his style? I would say he's more a puncher, if anything, to be honest. He's going to try to put it on you. But he's a southpaw. Gosh, I hope I got this right. He is a southpaw. Oh, man, I'm going to feel like a fool if he's not. Hold on. Yes. Because Robesi Ramirez, if I'm not mistaken, he was sticking it to him. Let's see. Oh, goodness. Hold on a second. I'm trying to... Abraham Nava. Abraham Nava. Oh, no, he's Orthodox. Sorry. He's Orthodox. Anyways, Robesi Ramirez knocked out Abraham Nava, giving the first loss of his career. And regardless of what, I like Abraham Nava. A lot of folks became familiar with Abraham Nava when he fought William Encarnacion, when he came out with his own mascot. It was a guy dressed up in a caricature of himself, and he had the orange beard. A lot of fighters should take notes with guys like Abraham Nava on how to self-market, because doing little silly stuff like that gets you on viral clips and gets you put into the public's consciousness, and that's not an easy thing to do in a small niche sport like boxing. So I like Abraham Nava, definitely his approach to marketing. This is kind of a must-win fight for both of them. Not a must-win fight for Abraham Nava. I believe, he's 21-1. He could potentially take another loss. I don't know. Adam Blue Nose Lopez at 16-3. One more loss, and you kind of get stuck in a journeyman status at one more loss. Adam Blue Nose Lopez is still in one of those positions where in a fight or two, he could be easily contending for a title. The same thing with Abraham Nava. They are in a very, very tough division. They're in the featherweight division, so they compete around 126 or 130 pounds. And depending on who they face in the next 1 or 2 fights, you could see either one of them competing for a title. If Adam Blue Nose Lopez were to lose, it might adversely affect that situation and his possible future chances of fighting for a title. Regardless, Adam Blue Nose Lopez is a fun fighter to watch. He's fan-friendly. He's got a great style. His only losses come against the best of the best. Like I said, Stephen Fulton. He lost against Isaac Dogbo. Had that great shootout with Oscar Valdez. You want to watch Adam Blue Nose Lopez because he's just a fan-friendly fighter to look at when you see him in the ring against opponents. He's all heart. And against Abraham Nava. So, who would I favor in this one? Oddly enough, I favor Adam Blue Nose Lopez in this matchup. I know Adam Blue Nose Lopez has a bit more wear and tear in the professional ranks amongst much stiffer competition than Abraham Nava, but Adam Blue Nose Lopez is a tough, gritty fighter. He has been in wildcard gym going crazy rounds with Naoya Inoue, monster, arguably the pound-for-pound number 1 fighter in the world, even so much that Naoya Inoue has invited him to come back to Japan to help him train for his next upcoming fight. And that's not a bad sign that when the pound-for-pound top fighter in the world likes you as a sparring partner. So that's a fight you're going to want to pay attention to this weekend on that stacked ESPN card. I mean, they've got all. Look at the list of the names on this. You've got Cash Flow Floyd Diaz against Edwin Rodriguez. You got Brian Norman against Rodrigo Correa. Haven Brady, Bruce Shushu Carrington. So there's some names on there that you're going to want to pay attention to, folks. Anyways, that's going to be it for my episode today. Hit that like button. Let me know what your thoughts are on the two big cards I talked about. Hit that like button. Hit follow if you haven't already done so. For those of you who don't know, this is Hot Boxing Minute, the future of boxing analysis on TikTok and YouTube. Peace out.